Very few people on the grassroots have done more than me. Very few. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Boy, dude, I'm a rider. I'm a legend, my G. Let's keep it real. I don't give myself enough props. You better forget who you talking to. I'm a legend out here, dude. Very few people have done more than me for black society here in America and globally. Very few people. On the grassroots, very few people. Come on now. Y'all don't, man, I don't like throwing my resume out there, dude. Boy, you're not going to play with me. Boy, you're not going to play with me, man. Man, look, some of y'all, man, boy, I don't want to throw my resume out here. Boy, let me tell you something. When you create a film series from scratch without corporate money, where 7 of them went to #1, became bestsellers, and are taught in schools around the world, come back and talk to me. When you give financial assistance to Dr. Ben, to the legendary Dr. Ben, let me do the resume real quick. When the legendary Dr. Ben was in a nursing home and all of these hotep niggas left him to starve after all the work he did, and he was non-FBA, but he was a rider. It was this player right here who put money over there in that nursing home to feed that man. Some of the other people in the conscious community, some of the legends, when they needed their rent paid, it was this player who did that. When the legendary Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, who gave everybody the game, who I'm about to do a documentary on, ladies and gentlemen, when that beloved Queen Mother died, people were calling around talking about taking a collection for her funeral. I was offended. A collection? How much is it? They told me the price. I immediately sent the money and paid for the whole thing. We will not disrespect that sister by passing out a fucking cup. People should have been tripping over themselves to take care of that. You don't question me. When Darren Seals, the legend, the real Black Lives Matter brother, was out there stomping in Missouri. That was the real lifeblood of Black Lives Matter. When the race soldiers killed our brother, I paid for that brother's funeral. You understand? When our brother, the young brother, was down there in Georgia, stepping on the flag, calling out the police, calling out race soldiers, EJ, Brother Eric Johnson, the brother was a fugitive. And they put him in jail. I got that brother out of jail. When a brother was down there in Louisiana, a race soldier tried to beat him up. The brother turned around and put hands on the race soldier. I made sure that brother didn't see a fucking day in jail. And then I got his charges dropped. Y'all better understand my damn resume. And for the tethers who come over here talking crazy, when I went to Haiti and did the movie 1804 and spent over $1 million doing that movie, which is taught in Haiti, down in Miami, because some of y'all people didn't do it. When I did that movie 1804, that's taught in schools everywhere. I went down to Haiti giving all types of money to the Haitian people, helping them out. When I went to Africa, Tanzania, when I went over to Zimbabwe, I was giving money to the good folks over there that were showing love to me, some of the farmers over there, thousands of dollars. People saw it. I'm a legend in the game. The legendary artist Prince used to tell everybody to go watch my movies. Prince, the iconic singer Prince, would give people copies of my movies. When they showed Paisley Park after he died, there were copies of Hidden Colors there. When Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, he was consulting with me. I was giving him the game. He was learning from Hidden Colors. Boy, do you know how iconic I am in this game? I don't give my resume. Dude, I'm out here. I've been out here, dude. We're the gangbangers. When T. Rogers, the dude who was the Pyru, who basically spread the Pyru game in LA to a certain degree. My brother T. Rogers, when he died, I helped pay for his funeral. That's my brother. When Tamir Rice died, I helped pay for his funeral. Don't ever question me. Do I need to keep going, or am I just going? Is it too much? Do I need to keep going? Don't ever question me. Dude, even now with the microphone check film, I'm protecting our culture. Angry Puerto Ricans have been throwing lawsuits at me because I'm fighting for foundational Black American culture. Do y'all know the angry Puerto Ricans are throwing bogus lawsuits at me because I'm telling the truth about the culture that they didn't create? I'm fighting for our legacy. I have to fight angry, hostile, anti-Black Puerto Ricans now. Let me keep going. Just to protect our culture. Dude, I've been out here in the game heavy. Do we need to talk about the reparations rallies? I done put these reparations rallies together where thousands of people have shown up out here in DC twice. Huge successful rallies, keeping the drumbeat of reparations up. Nobody with my influence is doing that. A lot of people with the kind of influence I have, they kind of shut up so they don't offend white mommy, white daddy. I'm not built like that. I'm a foundational Black American. We come from a lineage of people where you're supposed to help people within your community. Tethers always think there's some kind of little old financial scam somewhere where the Jews giving you niggas money. No, from our culture, we're supposed to look out for people in the damn community. When the rapper, what's his name? What's the dude who made Panda? What's his name? He's beefing with 50 Cent now. What's that guy's name? Oh yeah, the museum. The Hidden History Museum. Yeah, we done put together a museum from the grassroots, dude. I made $1 million in a month. No, what Black person is doing that? When I made $1 million, when we raised $1 million in 1 month, all the Tethers lost their minds. And then built a museum out here in less than a year. All the Tethers were real mad at that. Designer. Dude, when Designer was out here by my office about to get shot by the police, they about to blow that man's head off. I pulled over my car and got in between him and the police to stop him from shooting this dude. Just on GP. Because that's how we were raised as foundational Black Americans. You're supposed to help other folks, man. Just because they're part of your community, you're supposed to help them. The FBA expos, we done had expos where we go down to Dallas and Atlanta bringing business people together so you can see their products and you can buy from them. You understand? Well, I done a lot, dude. Nipsey Hussle, my good brother. Who do you think he was inspired by? Go back and look at some of Nipsey's tweets. The legendary Nipsey. Nipsey would give me props all the time. He always talked about how influenced he was by my work. His words. Go back and look at his tweets. He would tweet about me all the time. There's tweets of Nipsey. Hey man, I just saw 1804. That's the best documentary I've ever seen in my life. He said that. Come on man, do you really want to know the rest? I gotta let niggas know. I have to let people know. I gotta let people know. Man, a lot of y'all just don't know the resume. And family, you better put some goddamn respect on my name. And family, this is just within the last decade. Everything I told you was within the last decade. Do y'all know how long I've been around? Let me just go there for. Do y'all motherfuckers know how long I've been around for? A long time, putting in some real work. Some people have been rocking with me. Look, a lot of my audience is young. A lot of my audience, a lot of you guys are in your 20s. Family, I was doing podcasting before that was even a real thing. Started in 2006. Podcasting was very new. You understand? I've been in this for a long time. I've been doing this for a long ass time. And I've been creating industries for a long time. Even before the podcasting thing, I put out books that folks were reading back in the early 2000s. My first best-selling book came out in the year 2000. I had a book called The Art of Mackin'. Some of your moms and your dads and your uncles, they had that book. because some of you are young. Your parents would read my books, family. My books were #1. I put out #1 books in the early 2000s before the internet was really popping. My books created the whole pickup artist manosphere thing. That's where they got it from. Because my books became so successful. That's where all those dudes got it from. They got that from my stuff. I was, before any of these dudes were doing stuff on the internet, family, I was on television. Dude, I was on mainstream television, getting paper, doing this chopping up real game. I was on The Tonight Show. I was on Conan O'Brien, the Jenny Jones Show. I was on all of these major talk shows. Family, these people were trying to give me a television show because my Q rating was so high. I was doing stuff with MTV, and the ratings were so high, they would give me specials. So they were basically promoting my books for me. Yes, I was on Charm School with Monique. That Flavor of Love stuff, they had me on all those shows promoting my books. My books were selling through the roof. I could have just stuck to chopping up game. Family, right before I did Hidden Colors, there were 3 networks trying to give me a television show. They were throwing money at me to do pilots. We're talking 2008, 9, 10. Yes, I was on MTV Made. When I was on MTV Made, that was their highest rated episode. Where a player, was teaching a goofy white kid how to be fly. People loved that. People loved that. That kind of became the inspiration for the movie Hitch, a fly black man teaching a goofy white guy how to be cool. That became the inspiration for Hitch because the movie studios kept trying to buy the rights to my book and we were having issues. So what Hollywood would do, they're like, nigga, we'll just take your idea, which they did. And they gave me a lot of money for a pilot. VH1 did give me a lot of money to do a pilot for the Gold Digger show. And if you look online, you'll probably see the pilot for that, where they had me in a house with a bunch of women. That was VH1. So they gave me a whole bunch of money for a pilot. And so at the time, they were trying to get me to do these dating relationship shows because that was a big thing. And that's still a big thing to a certain degree. That's still a big thing. But at the time, 2010, there were a bunch of shows, a bunch of networks trying to get me to do shows. At the time, I was already going on tour. Some of you, if you've been rocking with me for a long time, you know that I was doing tours and lectures for years. Family, y'all know that I would do lectures at universities? I would do lectures at Yale. Do y'all know that? Some of this stuff is online. Hold on one second. I want to show y'all something. For anybody talk, because then you got these, I'm going to show some receipts today. Let me show y'all my damn resume. How I've been getting it in for a long time. Because you have tethers who be like, well, nigga, you tried to get into black power for the money, nigga. First of all, there wasn't no money in giving black folks game. There was no money in it. You understand? There was no money in educating black folks and telling black people about their history. No money. Until I got in and said, hey, let's do this thing on a large scale. Let me make big productions out of it. That's when it started making money. That didn't make money until I came in the game. None of the black conscious stuff made no money until I brought this shit to the game and started making big productions out of it. Let's be clear. I've been around for a long time getting money. I didn't need this to get money because there was no money in it until I brought the money to it. Let me show y'all something. Family, I was doing lectures in colleges all over the place. Let me show y'all an article from 2006. All right, some of y'all might remember this and might not. This is from Colgate News. This is Colgate University. Look at the date. This is in 2006. They were going to have me do a lecture. It was something called Sex Week. We're about chopping up game, and I've always been very real about the game. I've been very honest about man-woman relationships. I never did none of that simp stuff. I gave it from the hip. What my brother, my good dear brother, RIP to him, Kevin Samuels, started to do later, my brother got that from me. I was doing that already a decade before. Kevin Samuels, and he watched my stuff. He studied my stuff. But I was giving that hardcore, real talk ass game for men and women for a long time. Well documented. And when I did the Mac Lessons show, many of y'all weren't around during the Mac Lessons days. I was giving real relationship advice from the heart, telling it like it is, not sugarcoating anything. And it was real controversial. Nobody was really used to that. I was doing that a long time ago. And colleges, when they were bringing me out, sometimes the people would complain. People were complaining about me dropping that hot fire years ago. And this is them at Colgate University. They booked me, and I guess some feminist organization got pissed off because I was giving all of that game. They were like, that week some students voiced objections to Nasheed's possible presence on the campus. His best-selling book, Art of Mac and other titles, he hosts the Mac Lessons radio show. He regularly appears on television programs, BET, VH1, Conan O'Brien, Adam Carolla's show. He deals with making relationship, to discuss the objections with them. What did they say? They weren't really given real reasons why. The women's groups were saying that I was racist, that I was going to reinforce negative stereotypes. But I want y'all to see something. They were just making up a reason because they didn't want me to come up there and bring that hot fire. But I'm going to show you what they were paying me. This is what I was getting then, because they still had to pay me. They canceled the lecture, but we signed a contract. So this is the kind of money I was making then, going on tour, doing lectures, just chopping up game. Despite the fact that Nasheed is coming to the campus, is not coming to the campus, he will still get paid as it was stipulated in his contract. The cost, about $5,700, will come out of Colgate University's fund. So yeah, they still had to break bread. Dude, I was getting $5,000, $6,000 a pop going around the country just chopping up game on a regular basis. Yeah, that's in 2006 money. Do y'all remember when I first announced when I was going to do the Hidden Colors? Don't tell me about money. I've been getting some paper now. I've been getting paper, chopping up game, getting paper. You understand? I could have just kept doing that. That's the kind of money I was making regularly. I was going on tour, and this was what they were paying me. When I would do my own tours, I'd make more than that because I didn't have to share the money with nobody. I would go out doing tours around the country, selling out venues all over the place, just chopping up game. I started doing Hidden Colors. 2010, I got off tour. And at the time, a lot of people were complaining about the movies that were out at the time. Movies like Precious, The Help, The Blind Side, all of that nonsense. We were getting flooded with these movies that were killing the self-esteem of black people. I remember seeing Precious and I felt dirty leaving the theater. So there was a real bad vibe that we had about movies. So everybody was complaining, man, Tariq, man, we need to get somebody to make some movies about some real black stuff, man, some real positive black images. And I said, look, I was on Ustream one day, and I said, look, I just found out about something called Kickstarter. Kickstarter was a crowdfunding venue that if you had ideas, you can find people with like-minded situations who wanted to contribute to your projects. So I said, look, check this out, guys. I got an idea. Because the reason I started writing books that became bestsellers, I wasn't planning on being an author. I wasn't planning on being an author. I wrote books. I wrote The Art of Macking out of necessity. At the time, most of the books that came out in the late 90s, a lot of those books were like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Everybody was saying, man, we need a book that real players can really can respect and represent. Nobody was writing. I said, well, damn it, I'll write one. I'll write a book and just talk about how me and my buddies chop up game and some of the techniques we use. I wrote that book. That book sold 250,000 copies. Everybody and their mama had The Art of Mackin. That was a huge best-selling book. And then Simon & Schuster and Penguin Books, they all came to me throwing book deals at my ass. I was getting $50,000, $100,000 a pop from these publishers. They were breaking real bread. And I was going on tour promoting the book, so I was good with the books. 2010, I come home from tour. I said, look, I have an idea. Yeah, Monsters Ball, all of these movies. I said, look, there's something called Kickstarter, where people can raise money for projects that they want to contribute to. I dug in my pocket. I just happened to have $20,000 in my pocket because I literally just came home from a tour. I got home that Sunday. I always do my YouTube and Ustream shows on Sunday. I got in on a Sunday. I hadn't even changed clothes. I just happened to have $20,000 in my pocket because I just did a lecture somewhere. And because I had $20,000 in my pocket, that's the number that I stated for Kickstarter. I said, look, I looked in my pocket and I said, okay, this is $20,000. There's something called Kickstarter. Look, if we raise another $20,000 on Kickstarter, I'll put another $20,000 on top of it, and I'll do a documentary about Black history. If you guys match my 20K, that's why the first Kickstarter for Hidden Colors was $20,000. And that number just came because I just happened to have $20,000 on it. And I told people, I said, yeah, if y'all match me, we'll do it. I'll do a film. I got film crews. I work in the industry, man. I know how to get editors and all that stuff. If you guys if you're serious, you raise $20,000, I'll get it done. But here's the kicker. I don't want no women to contribute to it. I want only Black men. I don't want none of my white listeners to contribute to it either. Do y'all remember that? We're my old school listeners. I made a point to not have any women contribute to it. I said, no, I want Black men to do this. I want the world to see that Black men can get this popping. A lot of my white listeners, because I had a lot of white listeners at the time, as I do now, because I wasn't really heavy on getting on the race soldiers yet. I wasn't heavy on that. So I had a whole bunch of white listeners. I didn't want them to fund it because that would have kind of defeated the purpose. And white people wanted to fund it. I had a lot of my white listeners, hey dude, I'll contribute to it. I said, no. This is something that the brothers gonna have to step the hell up and do. This is something that the brothers are gonna have to step the fuck up and do. Brothers are gonna have to do this. I want Black men only. I wouldn't take a dime from nobody else but Black men. I said, we gonna have to do this. A lot of folks don't know that. Hidden Colors, man, that was the first of its kind. Nobody was doing nothing like that. Hidden Colors was the first of its kind. Nobody was doing anything remotely close to that. We put that thing out and changed the world. Shout out, that's why I always shout out those brothers. You'll hear me talk about the Melanoid 300. I always talk about, hey, if we get 300 people on code, you can change the world, dude. I've been in the game for a minute. Nobody has gotten together all of these legends and put them out there on the big screen. Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson had retired. Do y'all know Dr. Claude Anderson retired? I brought him out of retirement. I said, hell no. No. People gonna have to see you, brother. Now Claude Anderson is all over the place. Breakfast Club, all of that stuff. We pulled him out of retirement. Dr. Welsing, Brother Kaba, James Small, some of these legends, they thank me. Shout out to Brother Kaba, James Small. They've always given me props, saying, hey man, you know, when Tariq put us up in these films, that took our stuff to a whole different stratosphere. They've always given me props for that. Now the world sees these brothers and bring them to lectures and viewings all over the place. Okay? Umar. I put Umar on. Let's y'all know it. I put Umar on. Umar is brilliant. Now, you know, Umar does his wild thing. The Hidden Color series put Umar on. I put Umar on. You understand? And I say that respectfully, not to say that I'm sunning him or nothing, but you know, he was first known worldwide because of my films. You did? Nobody has done it like me. So I just say that to say, you're just showing the resume, man. I've been out here doing this for real, for real. I've been doing this for real, for real. Yeah? So don't question me. My resume is solid. Nobody has done it like me. I say that as humbly as I can say it. Nobody has done this thing like me. There's a reason why they send the think tanks after me, because they know the influence that I have. They send these think tanks to kind of try to denigrate me and discredit me because they know the influence. Yeah? Real talk. Real talk. The civil rights bills did not get passed because of nonviolence. All right? Those bills did not get passed because black folks sat up there and got their asses whooped. Those bills were passed because of violence. Black people were putting in work in the 1960s. Do not let white people, elevate John Lewis and tell you that they passed the civil rights bill because they felt bad for whooping John Lewis's ass. That ain't true. Black folks in the 60s were turning the hell up as quiet as it kept. Brothers was hijacking planes, sniping race soldiers off roofs. They were putting in some damn work. That's how bills got passed. Cats were understanding guerrilla warfare, urban guerrilla warfare.